Hi everybody! You are watching this video because you are ready to start the 1-point perspective shapes lesson. Let's take a really good look at this example. I see some really cool shapes. I see plus signs and I see like T shapes and triangles and hexagons. I see all sorts of fun shapes here. But I also noticed something else. These shapes are 3D. And the way the artist made these shapes look 3D is by using a technique called 1-point perspective. You might notice that here in the center of the page, there seems to be one point or one dot in the center of the page that all of the shapes seem to be heading towards. Without you even knowing it, the long road activity actually is a 1-point perspective activity where the road got smaller and smaller and smaller off into the distance until it seemed to disappear at a single point or spot. Let's go ahead and practice making one of our own. I'm going to do mine on Brush Ninja, but you are more than welcome to use paper and pencil. The steps would be exactly the same. So let's go ahead and get started. So here I go. I'm in Brush Ninja. I'm going to get rid of my eye drawing from yesterday. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a nice point in the middle of my paper. Again, you can do this on Brush Ninja, or you could simply use a pencil to draw a dot in the center of your paper. Okay? I'm gonna start playing with some colors here. I'm gonna do pink and red for my first shape, head to my shape tool, and I'm gonna do a square. Then maybe I'm gonna go ahead and do greens, and I'm gonna do a triangle. And then maybe I'm gonna do orange and yellow, and I'm gonna do a star. And last but not least, I'll do blues. You can use whatever colors you want. And let me do like a fancy shape this time. What do I want to use? I think I'm going to use this 4-sided star. So go ahead and put, 4, 5, 6, as many different shapes on your paper as you want. I'm just sort of moving these around till I'm happy with their size and with their placement. All right, there I go. I'm now going to use my line tool, and I'm going to start drawing lines. These lines are going to go from the corner of the shapes to that point in the middle of my page. Let me say that again. From a corner to the point. Notice how I'm creating almost these triangle shapes. Corner to the point. The better this all lines up, the more 3D my shape is going to look. Okay? I'm going to go back to the original colors I had for this top shape. Now that I have a guideline, I'm going to use my brush tool, maybe a little bit of a smaller brush here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sort of trace over each section as carefully as I can. Of course, if you're on paper, you're just going to color in the different sections. And now I've got a pretty good 3D shape. I'm going to do it again with my triangle. What did I have? A green line and a dark green in between. I'm on my line tool. From the corner of the shape to the dot in the middle. Uh-oh, there's a corner up here, but what happens when I draw from that corner? Basically nothing. It's a tiny little shape, but I guess I'm still gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna catch it a little bit. Okay, back to my paintbrush, and I'm going to trace even this tiny little shape, and then this much larger shape carefully, using those nice straight lines as a guideline. All right, I'm starting to get some 3D shapes on my paper from using this technique of one-point perspective. Let me do a couple more here. Line tool, fill my colors. Man, this four-sided star has lots of corners. That's a corner. This is a corner. This is a corner. Oh my gosh, a lot of corners on this one. This is a corner. And let's see what happens on this one. This is also a corner. But notice how I draw through the middle of my shape there. So I'm actually going to leave that corner out. I'm not going to use it. Because if it goes through the center of my shape, then I don't want it for this technique. All right, back to my brush tool so that I can start sort of painting in or filling in these spaces as carefully as I can. And I'm starting to get some really nice 3D shapes here. 3D means that I can see the height, the width, and the depth of the shape. So how wide is it? How tall is it? And how far does it move away from me in the distance? Let me check these other corners. Oh, draw through the middle of my shape. I don't want it. Draw through the middle of my shape. Oh, nope, I don't want it. Anytime it draws through the middle of your shape, you don't want to use that corner. That's a good way to check. All right, that's not bad. I've got some nice 3D shapes. I used that one point in the center to help me put on these extra sides. It's a little messy. I think I could clean up some areas, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Go ahead and test it out, see what you can do.